Folks, hello again, good evening, and thank you for tuning in with us here at FSC TV. I'm John Kristovich with James Simpson. We are back with the next edition of the Snakebite. It's our weekly sports show that airs every Wednesday at 5. Things are beginning to get interesting in Sunshine State Conference competition. Let's talk about that and more. Here's this week's edition of the Snakebite. As I mentioned, that spring season, we are in full swing and we've reached the conference schedule, which means we're starting to see some interesting scores. Let's take a look at this past week's weekly rundown of scores from our last several days of play. And boy, lots of W's per usual for this Florida Southern team. You can check out the baseball squad with the sweep. Women's lacrosse, men's lacrosse get a couple W's, and men's and women's tennis ramping up against some tough competition. So with that, women's lacrosse, they're playing right now, actually, James. Let's talk about them.
That's right. The number 5 ranked women's lacrosse team opened conference play last week with a 21-10 victory over the number 11 ranked Lynn University Fighting Knights. The Knights opened up scoring, but after being down for less than 60 seconds, the Mocs scored 10 straight. The Knights scrambled to stop the bleeding, but a goalie change and scoring the last 3 goals of the first half just wasn't enough. The Mocs never looked back. Riley Rittberg made 4 saves and earned her 8th win of the year, and Gianna Murphy led the Mocs in scoring with 5 goals and a pair of assists. The Mocs have now turned their attention to a rematch of last year's conference championship against number 6 University of Tampa. That game started 30 minutes ago, and you can watch it on the SSC Digital Network or follow along with live stats on fscmocs.com.
Well, we got to get out of here. I got to catch a second half of action from over at the Bob Martinez Athletic Center. Well, let's take a look at the men's lacrosse team because they're also playing tonight. Currently riding a 7-game winning streak. They return to Barron Field after opening their conference schedule on the road. Mocs coming off of a dominant 21-5 victory over Embry-Riddle this past Saturday to improve to 9-2 on the season. The team, which is now ranked 16th in the country according to the USILA, was led by the conference's reigning freshman of the year, Matt Flamensbeck, who scored 5 goals in the blowout win. He would go on to be named most recently this week to the National Team of the Week for his efforts. Plus, Jay Miner had 5 points with 3 goals on the day against Embry-Riddle, while goalkeeper Michael Simone earned his 7th win of the year, making 11 saves. Mocs take on St. Leo University tonight, 7 p.m., looking to claim their 3rd conference win and as many opportunities. Again, first face-off set for 7 o'clock right here at home, Barron Field.
The baseball team kept their momentum going at Henley Field this past weekend, sweeping conference rival Palm Beach Atlantic in a 3-game series. They won Friday's game by a score of 16-6 and both of Saturday's games by scores of 12-2 and 17-9, respectively. That adds up to 45 runs scored, and the Mocs did so on 55 total hits. Bryce Saprowicz hit 2 home runs this weekend, a 3-run bomb in Friday's game, and a 2-run shot in Saturday's game, while Ryan Magdique and Elrico Riley both hit a 3-run homer in Game 3 of the series. Deontay Starks got in on the home run action too, hitting a grand slam in part of a 9-run 7th inning in the 2nd game of the series. And on the mound, the Mocs were excellent. Nate Madej, Justin Witt, and Jordan Fox earning the 3 wins, and all 3 of them undefeated thus far on the season. The Mocs are now 22-9 and will be on the road this weekend for another important conference series, a 3-game set at Lynn University starting tomorrow night at 6 p.m.
All right, tell you what, James, we don't have a football team here, but with scoring like that, 45 runs in 3 games, putting up football-style numbers. Well, good stuff to see for the baseball team. You said it, they're back in action. Well, on the other diamond, it was another week of hard-fought conference softball for the team as they went fishing for wins over at Palm Beach Atlantic. Game 1 was controlled by the home team Sailfish in a 5-0 victory, but the Mocs responded, putting up 7 runs in the 5th inning of Game 2 in what would be a dominant 8-0 victory. Senior Liana Kelly started and finished the scoring for the Mocs, nabbing an RBI in the 1st and 5th inning of play, while Mel Rogers picked up the victory in the circle, allowing just 5 hits in her 2nd shutout performance of the season. She improves her record to 7-3 overall. In typical SSC fashion, Game 3 went down to the wire, but the Sailfish hung on for a 6-5 victory despite a 4-for-4 performance from Mocs first baseman Maddie Connor. Mocs dropped the series 2-1. They now move to 17-19 on the season. But James, they're just 1 game away from tying their win total from last season. So good stuff at Chris Pilato Field. That'll continue this weekend. Mocs are going to host Lynn University tomorrow night at 6 p.m. right here at home for Game 1 of their series.
A lot of spring sports are beginning to wind down, and one of those is the impressive season from men's tennis as the playoffs begin in just over 2 weeks. Last week, we left you as the number 24 ranked men's tennis team was taking on number 1 nationally ranked St. Leo University here in Lakeland. You know, they could not pull off the upset despite giving their Lions a run for their money in singles play, eventually losing 5-2 on the day. After that, they took a nice road trip to Georgia over the weekend where they went 1-1 overall in some tightly contested matches. Number 26 ranked Augusta University defeated the Mocs 4-3 despite the men winning the doubles point with the aid of the number 9 nationally ranked pairing Chris Falcao and Mateo Feghi. The Mocs returned to the win column quickly as they defeated number 45 ranked Georgia College 4-3, improving their overall record to 14-7. This Thursday, they will return to action on the road as they will travel to Daytona Beach, where they will take on number 25 ranked Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in an SSC matchup.
Just a mere 2 matches remain for the number 23 ranked women's tennis team as they sit at 12-4 for their overall record during their final push to the SSC championships. They faced a team that is likely to be a top contender for that title in number 2 nationally ranked St. Leo University this past Thursday. Although they lost 7-0, the doubles pairing of Kennedy Brown and Kelly Claren were able to secure the Mocs' only victory on the courts for the day. SSC competition has been up and down for the Lady Mocs this season with the staunch competition here in state. They look to turn their fortunes around with a 3 p.m. showdown tomorrow afternoon here in Lakeland against the number 9 ranked University of Tampa. And guess what? It's senior day, which means that it is the last home match of the season. So be sure to take some time tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m., and show some support on what is sure to be a special day for our special senior women's class and what has been a remarkable 2023 season for that unit particularly.
The beach volleyball team fought a tough battle in Tampa this Saturday against both Erskine College and the University of Tampa. It was a close call in the first game against Erskine with the Moccasins, Ashley McKinney and Sarah Crocker securing a win, followed by another victorious game from Cristiano Ramazio and Haley St. Martin. Unfortunately, it was not enough as the Mocs fell short 3-2. In their second contest against UT, the Mocs fought hard but fell again by a score of 5-0. The Mocs returned home to honor their seniors with a tri-match against Lake Sumter Community College and Palm Beach Atlantic with a 6-17 record overall. The Mocs are looking to pick up some key wins before heading to the AVCA Small College Championship next week.
Getting better every match, tell you that much. Well, the men's golf team finished their regular season on a high note, coming in at 4th place in the Battle of the Shores, hosted by Barry U. They were led by Tyler Mastretta and Adam Alvarez, who each turned in solid performances, locking up a pair of top 20 finishes individually. Women's golf team also had a solid finish to their season as they came in at 6th place in a very strong field at the Lynn Invitational, with 3 players finishing in the top 30. Marissa Cardenas led the way for the Moccasins with her 12 over par 21st place finish, while Lauren Perez and Lacey Tucker both finished tied for 27th. So regular seasons are pretty much in the books here, but both teams have some time off before heading back on the road to compete in the 2023 Sunshine State Conference Championships over the course of the next couple weeks.
The men's and women's track teams had a successful outing this past weekend at the Embry-Riddle Spikes Classic, with fast times coming from both teams. Senior Alex Guy ran season best times of 1:54 in the 800 and 3 minutes 54 seconds in the 1500 meters, placing 6th in the 800 and winning the 1500. That's his second win this season. First of all, coming in the indoor season. Fellow senior Bryson Yamnitz also broke the 4-minute barrier in the 1500, running 3:57.27 and placing 6th overall. He'll travel up to lead this week, where he will take on the 5K against some of the top competition in Division II. On the women's side, Emma Musanti ran a 1500 personal record of 4:45.22, placing 11th. And the Mocs also saw 3 more runners break the 19-minute barrier in the 5K for the first time this season, as sophomore Marissa Courtright led the way with a time of 18 minutes 43.42. Both teams will return to action this Friday with a smaller squad heading up to Lee University to race the 5K and 10K at the Flames Invitational.
Brings us to our Week in Mocs History segment, and today we're looking at both April 5th and April 6th of 1968. On each of those days, the Mocs baseball team tied Jacksonville University, but we got to talk more about April 6th. The teams played 18 innings of baseball until eventually calling the game with the score even at 3. With the game lasting 18 innings, that still stands alone as the longest game in Moccasin history. And Well, the Mocs have been doing a good job of keeping the bats loud. They'll look to continue to do that this weekend. They travel on the road to Lynn University. I'm sure they're probably hoping this one doesn't go 18 innings, though. Well, so Mocs headed on the road for Lynn this weekend. We got a bunch of great action, including right now. Tonight we got men's lacrosse. Boy, it only gets better from here. John Kristovich, James Simpson saying thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next Wednesday at 5. Happy Easter, everybody. Put a runner on second.